Nelson with Cascade Sports. We're here at Raytown South, home of the Mighty Cardinals, and we have their head coach. Who do we have here?
Coach William Harris.
Hey, Coach, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. How long you been coaching, where you coach, and did you play?
All right, so I've been coaching. It's been a long time. I've probably close to 15 plus years, so it's been a while. Coached at a couple different spots. My last spot was a head coach at Van Horn High School. So it's my first year here at Raytown South. Glad to be here. Happy to be back home. I actually played here, graduated here. So before I went to college, this is where I was at. So glad to be home.
When you were playing here?
I played defensive end. So I was an outside linebacker / defensive end.
Run it down where you went after you left Raytown South.
So after I left here, I went to Baker University and played defensive end there. I was a 4-year starter, 3-time all-conference, and so I had a pretty successful career there playing defensive end.
And what brought you into coaching?
I actually played for some really good coaches both here at high school and in college, and so I initially graduated with a business degree, so I worked in the business world for a couple years and had an old college coach call me and asked me if I was interested in getting back in. I decided I was, and so kind of coached in college for 3 years and then made my way back to high school. And so I had a lot of good mentors and guys that I played for that kind of inspired me to get back into coaching.
That's my next thing. Run it down from your Pee-wee coaches to your college coaches as it relates to who were mentors to you on the field, and then talk about some of the mentors that helped turn you into the young man that you are now.
Definitely start with my head coach here. My head coach here was Kelly Donahoe, who's the head coach at Rockhurst right now. So he's a great coach, came in and instilled discipline and kind of taught us how to win and taught us how to, get through adversity and things like that. He brought in an awesome staff, so great assistant coaches. Coach Carpino was my defensive coordinator, longtime defensive coordinator around the city. Just finished up at Grain Valley, just retired out there last year. Coach Ali was the head coach at Grain Valley. So those are a lot of my high school guys, and I could name the whole staff. It was a really great staff and a lot of great guys that, as young men, to see those guys as examples, it was huge for us learning how to conduct ourselves and be young men. Once I got to college, Lance Corbin was my defensive coordinator in college. He's a great guy. He actually played at Raytown South, so another Raytown South guy. Played at Raytown South, and I didn't know that until I got there, but he really inspired me and kind of taught me defensively how to coach and be a coach. So it's a lot of guys, a lot of guys.
What about off the field? Who was important in mentoring you?
That's really, it sounds cliche, but those guys, Coach Carpino, it wasn't the X's and O's that really inspired me. It was his care and his love for me away from football. And I tell our coaching staff all the time, you remember games and you remember things like that coaches taught you, but it's what did you say to that kid in the building? What did you say to that kid that was non-football related that made those kids kind of endear themselves to you and make you feel like you were a part of it and it was bigger than football? So it sounds really cliche, but all of those guys were really great guys off the field, and it wasn't just about X's and O's with those people.
All right, Coach. You had a close loss last week. Talk about that.
It was a weird game because at halftime it was 21-20, and we had some ups and downs, which you typically have in a football game. And it felt really good going into halftime, but in the second half, we just didn't come out and kind of hold up defensively, especially. Our offense played well. Defensively, we just were misaligned and weren't assignment sound. And so for it to be my first game, it felt really awesome to be back from that perspective and to be here and to coach my first game as a Raytown South Cardinal head coach. But the loss hurts because I hate losing. I tell people that all the time. We're a young team, but that's never an excuse. And so the loss was a loss, but it felt really good to be back home and see these guys perform after a long summer and after putting in some work over the summertime.
How has COVID affected your practices and so forth?
I don't think it's directly impacted us this year as much as last year's season. I think it's in the back of everybody's mind. So when kids don't feel well or something's going on with a kid, it's the first thing that pops in your mind is, are we going to get shut down? Is a kid vaccinated? Or are we going to do we have to contact trace and things like that? So it hasn't had as much of a direct impact as last year. I think one of the positive things of it is kids that were at home last year and sat on the couch, and parents that sat home and had those kids there and they didn't do anything, are pushing their kids out because it is a little bit of a different climate from last year. I think participation is up for our kids. I think participation is up from the crowd. And so even though we're not completely out of the woods with this thing yet, I think people are happy to get back to a sense of normalcy. So I think it has actually helped our program a little bit. But at the same time, we're cautious and we're adhering to all the kind of the protocols and things like that. So we still have those precautions. So we have Raytown High School on Friday. Good old Blue Jays.
What's that going to look like, Coach?
It's with a young team like we have, it could go a couple different ways. I think we have the potential, if we come out and execute and we're assignment sound and we do our job, it has the potential to be a really good game. I think it's on the upside of it. It could go our way if we go out and we do what we're supposed to, but at the same time, if we still hitting that learning curve, we could struggle.
Hey, Coach, being a new coach, how important is it for you to have a good administration behind you and a good student body? Where did y'all play last week?
We played at Belton last week.
All right. How important do you feel the home stand is?
This will be my first time, so I'm interested to see what it looks like, and it's going to be a really big game. So I'm sure the crowd's going to be good because of who we're playing. But our administration has been awesome since I've been here. Anything I need, I can get. If they ask me every day, what do you need? What do we need to do to make you successful? So it's awesome having people behind you that support you and kind of see your vision and are here to support you and make that happen. So I can't say anything but superlatives about the people that I've worked with and our administration in the building since I've gotten here.
Hey, Coach, it's a plum pleasing pleasure having you on, and we look to cover one or two of your games, and go Cardinals.
Absolutely. It's a great day to be a Cardinal.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.